Hey viewers, my name's Dan and welcome back to Exhaust Notes Australia. Today I'm not going to tell you that EVs are the future and that we should all rush out and buy one tomorrow, but I think we can agree that in certain cases that they do have a place, and there are now a number of companies that offer compelling options for your hard-earned cash. One of those, I think, we have here today. We have the Zeekr X, and with its distinctive styling and a different kind of profile from the norm, it could be something you'd want to consider. Now, Zeekr entered the Australian market in 2024, introducing two vehicles, the 009, which is a luxury people mover, and the Model X, which is based on the Volvo EX30. It's obviously built in China, in Chengdu, but is designed in Gothenburg, Sweden, for that distinctive flavor. Early comments on reviews for the Zeekr X suggested that it was priced too high for the Australian market. So in April 2025, Zeekr took $7,000 off their rear-wheel drive models, so you could drive away in one for under $50,000. And for the all-wheel drive that we have here, you could drive away in one for $62,900, a $2,000 saving. Compared with its Volvo EX30 sibling, the rear-wheel drive of that could be had from $59,990 drive away, and the all-wheel drive from $66,290. The Zeekr experience is everything about how the outside looks as well as the inside. After all, this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. All of the touch points and just the look and fit and finish of everything in here is really well done. The square steering wheel has a couple of buttons on it. They are slightly ambiguous, and this armrest includes a wireless charger for your phone, which has been a little problematic with our phones during the time that we've had it. Center storage as well. You have a baggage hook in the middle here, two USB points, a bit of an adjustable pocket, an interesting cup holder arrangement, and a cover on this. It's comfortable, both seats, allowing for plenty of leg room adjustment, and in the all-wheel drive model we are heated and ventilated on these front seats as well. Plenty of ambient lighting in here that can be changed to how your music plays, or you can adjust it any which way you like all through the screen. There's a large full glass roof. There is no sunshade on it though, so on those sunnier days just be aware of that. But otherwise we are pretty well appointed, and an amazing Yamaha audio system in here too. Speakers light up with that ambient lighting as well, which is kind of cool. The second row is a little tighter due to the Zeekr X being a smaller platform. So sitting here, you can notice I do have some leg room, but my legs are definitely propped up due to the higher floor of an electric vehicle, but it is still comfortable. Plenty of headroom. Again, there's that glass roof, but the door does come up quite high on this rear pillar here, so shorter people may not have the best view out the windows. Frameless glass on all the doors, which is quite nice, and we do have these coat hangers, a nice touch, and an interesting style to the seat pockets here, which may not get that much use these days. Rear vents are in the door pillars, and there are some, I'm not sure if I was supposed to be able to do that. Can put it back. Somehow I was able to remove the center console. It is comfortable back here. We have a center armrest with cup holders, ISOFIX points on each of the outer seats. Even with my longer legs and limited footroom, I think you could get comfortable back here. Of course, Zeekr is all about design, and that's definitely on show with the exterior of the Zeekr X. At the front we have this handlebar mustache kind of thing happening in the bumper, and this claw-like headlight arrangement, which is in other Zeekr models. There is, funnily enough, a whale in the front windscreen, and I don't know why it's there. Although one reviewer did mention that the side profile kind of resembles a whale, and once you kind of see that, it's hard not to see it anymore. So I don't know if there's anything related between that and Zeekr itself, or maybe it's because it's on the SEA platform from Geely. That could be a reason too. Overall, I quite like the distinctive look of the Zeekr, the large 20s here with the guards and those sharp creases all along the side. There's no doubt what you're looking at here. What becomes expected these days of ground-up EVs is the inclusion of a frunk. You still need to pull twice on the lever, just like a bonnet on any ordinary car, to reveal the 15-litre frunk on the Zeekr X. It's by no means big, but they do include a custom-made suitcase to hold your cables in. And that's pretty much all you're going to be using the space for. It is a nice bag though. And we found under here, well, you can top up your washer fluid as well, but aside from that, that's all that's pretty much going on under here. To close the frunk, you do need to give it quite a shove though, which makes me wonder if people actually use their frunks for anything else other than their cable storage, because I find that doing this all the time would get a little bit tedious. Given the size of the Zeekr X, one of its shortcomings could be its boot space. While we do have an automatic tailgate, we are limited to 362 litres back here, or 1182 with the second row folded down. There is a little bit more storage space underneath the floor, but overall it is quite a small storage space. The rear design of the Zeekr X is just as funky as the front. We have a very thin letterbox rear window here. This whole rear section gives off old Renault Megane vibes. The world's smallest windscreen wiper. There's a lot of lighting that goes on here, and the Zeekr badge doesn't light up. I imagine it does in its home country though. A lot of angles and curves sort of coming together. Of course, we have our charge port on this side. AC and DC charging is available. So, this is the Zeekr X, and you can maybe hear its little electric whirring sounds as we go slowly. That's to alert pedestrians that we're around. I was looking through the options menu. Apparently you can change the sound to be like a race car or a cat or a horse, which, well, that's interesting. But as I've said already about the interior, everything looks and feels quite premium in here. Now, of course, we don't know how this is going to go over the long run, but for now, it's quite a good little setup. Let's change that screen so you can have the screen here show you what the car's doing. It tells you what lights are on. So if you've got the regen braking on, for example, I always wondered if it automatically applies the brake lights. Well, it does. If we come to a stop here, you can see the brake lights have activated, and I haven't pushed the brake pedal there. So that's a good, handy little thing. Now, as with most EVs, you do expect them to have a sense of smoothness about them, and the X is no different. I just do find that indicator click is a little on the loud side, if I'm honest. And we do have the safety suite, so it is telling me I've just gone a little bit over the speed limit there. All of that can be disabled through the screen, of course. But I just want to get a bit of an idea of how the Zeekr X drives for you. In the time I've had it, it has been very smooth and actually quite composed in the bends and around town. It may come down to the fact that it's on a slightly smaller wheelbase than the other electric SUVs you might know of. You come into a bend and it just grips up a bit. It's not making too much of a fuss, which is good. That's what you kind of want. We're in suburbia here, but there are a few roads that twist and meander a bit, so we can see how it performs. Bit of a tight bend here. Yeah, it's just kind of sticking. It's still an SUV, so it's still a bit high, not getting hot hatch vibes from it. So of course we have the all-wheel drive version here with a motor on each axle, and that gives us a combined 315 kilowatts and 543 newton meters of torque. Those are pretty respectable numbers for a small SUV. It's certainly up there against its competition, and something to consider when you are shopping these against other cars in the category. So we're sitting on a 66 kilowatt hour battery, and it has a claimed range of about 470 kilometers. We've only been charging this thing up to about 80%, and we've been seeing a lot lower than that, of course. You don't want to overcharge this battery either, so do be aware of that. Now I've just got this in standard mode for now. I think if we get closer to a motorway or something, I might put it into sport to see if we can get a bit more go out of it. But even in standard, the kick up to 80 is not bad at all. Yeah. it's effortless, as you expect from any electric vehicle like this. One thing that the Zeekr does have on its side is its recharge time. It gets from 10 to 80% in less than half an hour, and it's certainly quicker than some of its rivals. I've been trying to think of where does the Zeekr X sit when it comes to competitors, and I can only think that it kind of is up there against the BYD Atto 3, the Hyundai Kona Electric, perhaps even the BYD Dolphin on the smaller side of things, just because power-wise it's up there, price-wise it's up there, and then when you look at the boot space, it's kind of lacking against some of those. So it sits in this interesting space. It does have more boot capacity than its sibling, the Volvo EX30, and it undercuts that considerably on price. But if you do want something more conservative looking, the Volvo is going to be what you're after. Now, let me see, as we come up to this motorway entrance, I'll go to the drive mode and we'll show her into sport. No, that's the sport, there we go. And let's see how we can go here. Jesus. Oh, that was a kick in the pants. Oh my gosh. Well, even I didn't expect that, and I've done it before. So the Zeekr X will do 0 to 100 in 3.8 seconds, and so that is up there with the likes of the Alfa Romeo Giulia and Stelvio Quadrifoglio, or the BYD Seal Performance will also do it that quick. And I'm gonna have to do that again. That's just too much fun. We have a semi-minimalist setup inside here. Only a couple of buttons, and on the two stalks, basically they do everything from indicators on the left to wipers as well. I mean, that's kind of normal. And then on the right, you have your gears and your cruise control. I'm still sussing that out, if I'm honest. On the top of the steering wheel, apart from the driver monitor, you also have an 8.8-inch display, which gives you all of your necessary information, what gear you're in, your speed, and it also detects other cars on the road, which is nice. Like it's showing me that truck up ahead, for example, the lane markings, things like that. As you're driving through suburbia, it will show you parked cars and all that sort of stuff as well. The all-wheel drive model also comes with a massive 24.3-inch head-up display with augmented reality. So when you have your navigation on, you'll get these arrows and things will appear up there. It's currently telling me my speed as well as the posted speed limit. That is a little bit of an iffy system, as it has read the speed limit signs wrong on quite a number of occasions, and of course that's going to alert it to beep at you when it thinks you're doing over the speed limit, which is never fun. Again, these systems are there, but they are flawed still. In the middle we have a large but not class-leading display. Look, it's big enough and it's fast enough. I think it runs on the same processor that's in the DePaul SO7, so you can look at your, it's not going to let me do that, but you can, look at all your car stats like we were earlier, and there's a number of apps and features within it as well. Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, they work reasonably well. I have had a couple of connection issues from time to time, but nothing that's been too noteworthy. As with most of these EVs, everything is run through the screen. So there's your air conditioning settings, for example. If you want to change your recirculation, your fan speed, I mean, you can select auto and all that via a shortcut, but it is all screen related. Even adjusting the mirrors, that's all through here, and I kept forgetting how you have to do that, so you have to know where it is in the menu. My advice, again, for anyone getting a car like this, like with the DePaul, is to just spend some time. If you go to the dealership, let them just sit with you or sit in it for a good amount of time so that you get used to where everything is, how to access everything. I'm still finding things and features in here that I wasn't aware of before. So look, there's plenty in there. Maybe not as much as some of the others. Again, I refer to the Deepol SO7. That just had everything, but maybe you don't want to play with a bonfire on the screen, and the Zeekr X is probably going to give you just enough stuff that you need and not worry you with all the other extra stuff. There is a camera system within here too. Again, I think it's just something that the Chinese EVs are giving us, so you can record photos or videos from the external cameras if you wish. All right, I'm going to give this a go. We have come to a complete stop. 100 zone ahead of us. There's no one around. Let's do this. Still, nothing can prepare you for that shove. It is just unreal. It is so much fun. All right, that's it. That's enough. Oh, I love it. So the rear-wheel drive version, obviously you're saving a bit of money. You're probably going to get a bit more range out of it because it has the same battery, but you're only powering one of the axles. But you do miss out on a few things. You get the display monitor in the B pillar on the driver's side, which is pretty handy, I got to admit. It tells you when the car's charging, how much charge is in and how much charge time is left to go. And you also get the little, I don't know what's called, the Zeekr Intelligent guy, a bit like the paperclip dude that Microsoft tried to do. It greets you, and here it's actually gone to sleep on me. But when you're playing your music, it'll bop along. Oh, it's woken up. No, it's not sure. So Zeekr offer a standard 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty on this car, which is pretty standard fare. And you get 8 years on the battery. Again, pretty standard. Looking at Zeekr locations for servicing, they're still a very young brand, if you like. So there are 3 locations in Sydney, 2 in Melbourne, and 1 in each Perth and Canberra for the moment. So I guess as they grow, we'll expect to see that network grow a little bit more because you're going to need to start servicing. Now, the beauty of an EV is they don't need servicing as often. The Zeekr's intervals are 24 months and 20,000 Ks, which is nice. Now, bearing in mind that this is a smaller SUV as well, it does come in under the 2-ton weight. This comes in at 1960 kilos for the all-wheel drive version. It's by no means a lightweight, but for an EV, that's pretty good. So this has a claimed range of about 470 kilometers on a full battery. Looking at the others, the EX30 gets up to 462, or probably 445 is mentioned. That's probably for the all-wheel drive version. Hyundai Kona Electric up to 440. The Dolphin's 427, Atto 3 up to 490, and the EV3 up to 604. Now, all these are claimed figures, and there's probably some variations there if I'm quoting front-wheel drive versus all-wheel drive. So, look, all I'm saying really is that the Zeekr X is in amongst its peers on the range. And you do get the faster charge time as well. Being able to use a 150 kilowatt DC fast charge might give you a bit of a advantage there. It's 11 kilowatts on the AC, so of course that's going to take quite a bit longer. Charge it overnight when you get home kind of thing might help you, and just, top it up a little bit as you go. All right, so on this interior we have probably the more safer option here in that we have the black and the charcoal grey. This is the no-cost option, but there are 2 others available for $500, and you can get a blue and white, which is quite nice and classy. And there's also a mulberry and rose, which is definitely a bit more opulent, I've got to say. For exterior colours, they're all no-cost options, but they're all a little bit on the more, how should I say, the safer side. There's certainly no loud or shouty colours. We've got mist grey here, but you've also got a white, your silvers, and an interesting green. But nothing to get too excited about, I'd say. Now, one thing that I want to show is that it does have a self-parking feature, and I've managed to use it once so far, and Well, let's just say in my mind, I think it probably could have done a better job, but let's have a look. I'm going to pick an area that's got, a little bit of room. And stop, you hit the 360 button for the camera, hit the park assist, and it's detected there a parking spot that it can get into, which is good. So, it's gone for a different one there. Alright, select that one, and then you hit the start parking button. Release the steering wheel, release the brake, and okay, let's see how this goes. It's actually going to park us next to a car, so I'm a little bit more interested in how this is going to go. Okay, it's gone a long way out, if I'm honest. Hopefully it's keeping an eye out on things. Not too bad so far. Oh, I would have kept going, but anyway. As I'm going to say with most of these features, they're all novelties. Really, if you can't be parking your car yourself, should you be driving the car? We're in. Oh, it's kind of tried to straighten the wheels that time. Okay, that wasn't terrible. Took a little longer than I probably would have expected, and I think I would have done that a bit quicker myself. But there you go. And so with that parking mode, you can also get the car to pull out for you as well. Some of the other features we have in here, there's a light show option, which basically gets all the lights going, doing a little dance thing. Interestingly, we only have the choice of 2 songs, but basically you can select from the Canon Rock or a wedding march. Should you invite your Zeekr to the wedding and your musicians don't turn up, well then you can have the car play the music for you. There is also a rest mode, which you can set a timer, so 15 minutes or however long you like, and then hit the start button. You can select it for either the passenger or the driver, and once you do that, you get your relaxing music. The seat goes into recline, and there's your little nap. I'm sure it will wake me up in 15 minutes. Thank you, Zeekr. So on that servicing stuff I mentioned before, the first service is $690 and the second is $1,420. Zeekr don't offer any servicing packages just yet or capped price servicing, but they might be looking at it as time goes on. The only other thing to mention really, and I've never really had to talk about the key fob in a review car, but it is quite a small little unit and it has 4 buttons on it. A lock, unlock, the boot, and the 4th one apparently is to help with the auto park, although I've not been able to get that to work. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to put it onto a keyring, and it doesn't illuminate. So at night, you're going to have to hope you know which button you're pressing. Now, thankfully, the car, it can be set up so that as you approach it, it will unlock itself, and you get the puddle lamps and things like that in the handles, which are all pretty cool. And as you walk away, it can lock itself too, which of course is quite handy. It negates the need to really use or touch the fob. But do be aware, and it's something that I found when I picked up the car, and it's something that I've Googled about, is that it seems to deplete the battery really quickly. And so when I got the car, the battery was flat and the car was a 2-ton paperweight. You could get in the car, the air conditioning would turn on, you could play the radio and use the functions, but you just could not get the car into gear because it didn't detect that the key was there. Thankfully, changing the battery isn't too hard. You basically twist the fob and pull it apart, and what you're looking for is a CR2450. Make sure you've got some spare batteries lying around just in case you need it. There is also the option that you can use the Zeekr app on your phone to access the car, and a key card as well. Alright, in summary, I think the Zeekr X definitely has a distinctive design about it and will definitely stand out amongst its competitors and in the car park. even without the loud paint colors that you can't seemingly get at the moment. It's silky smooth to drive, but it also has some pretty decent handling about it as well. So getting around urban and perhaps even on a bit of a road trip scenario, it won't be too bad. Like, you can still have a little bit of fun with it. That acceleration with sport mode on is insane, I've got to say. That's definitely something to enjoy. It's got plenty of features, and while most of it does come through this display, at least there's not overload. You're not overwhelmed by too much stuff, as I mentioned. What I'd say on the downside is this center console could do with some work, just some rejigging. Maybe they need some UX designers involved just to get that a little better. It does have a small boot compared to its competitors, so that's a consideration to take in. And, you know, the key fob, the batteries. So what do you think? If you're looking at an EV, is this what you're after, or are you waiting on the 7X, to something a little larger that will serve your family needs a little better? Yeah, before I go, big thanks to Exhaust Notes Australia for letting me have a play. Big thanks to Zeekr. It's the first car of theirs that we've been able to review on the channel, and hopefully we'll get some of the others as well. Now, I think if you want to get more people into EVs, you need to offer something different and exceptional. And Zeekr are on their way to doing that with this offering. They have a definite style and distinctive look that is carving a niche out for them. Certainly it may not be for everyone, but their interior fit and finish is definitely up there. They just need to be able to back that up with serviceability, reliability, a decent dealer network, and they could be well on their way to surviving the next few years in a very competitive and overcrowded market. Well, what do you think? Has the price drop changed your mind? Could you consider a Zeekr in the future? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you next time.